Father was an entrepreneur. He goes on a trip. I'm age 3.5. He has a major heart attack, age 29. On this trip, never comes back. For about a year, my family didn't tell me that he died. So I would go outside the house every day waiting for my dad to come home. And, one thing I say, always tell your kids everything. Okay, because when I found out a year later, I was just so disappointed in my family and adults that they can lie to you for so long.
Yeah.
And they felt I didn't have the capacity as a child to handle the news. So they just hid it from me and lied to me for a year. And I think that even today has tainted me, and you think, even your family can lie to you. They can hide things to you. And it's a painful process. But then my grandfather fought for our custody with my mom because my mom was only 23. She was a widow at 23. And she fought hard. I was a witness of that battle. He won because in those days in the Islamic world, the father gets the kids, and took 3 of us, myself, my sister, and my mom under his wing. And then 2.5 years later, he's with us, and he has some cough, goes to have a shower, comes back and dies in front of us of a heart attack. So by the age of 7, I saw 2 male prominent figures in my life die. And it made me realize that how short life is, because they're both young. My granddad was only like 55 or something, my age. And he was a mayor of a city, very successful guy, prominent figure, and he just died. So my mom's life was turned on its head in Iran. And in 1979, we came to the UK. Just came to learn to speak English, and then the revolution started. And because we were pro-regime and not the new guys, we just decided to stay. So it became the longest holiday of our lives.
I want to dive into 2 things you said there.
Sure.
And it's something I heard you say in the past too, is living with no regrets. And this is something I teach people on a regular basis, live with no regrets. I just recently, in a week, it's going to be 6 months, I lost my father. He was 76, so he did live a good life, but it was the same thing.
Even 67's young. Even 67's young.
100%. And he was, I'm the 44-year-old that would talk to my dad 3 times a day. We would call on the way to work. I would call him before I went to bed every night. I had an incredible relationship with him. He was my best friend, and never smoked, never drank, power walked every day. I talked to him on I talked to him on May 6th, and 10:30 at night, said goodnight. I got a call May 7th, 6 in the morning. He dropped in front of my mom's arms and died in front of her. And my life just turned upside down. And I was able to spend all these years with my dad. I did a lot with my dad. I was always with him. We talked every day. So I have these incredible memories. So listening to you not being able to have those, it's just so touching, and it's so close to home. And man, it's I just want to say that, I mean, living with no regrets is so important for people to understand, because it's, man, that's the one thing we could control when we're still here. Live in the present, do what you can every single day. So I love that. So from the UK, let's start your journey. Let's continue there from the UK. So how long did you live in the UK for?
If I may go back a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you wonder if you're cursed or you're blessed, because we all lose our parents sometimes. Yeah. Because I'm so positive with everything, I realized what's the blessing out of this. And the blessing is that I treat every day. I started counting. Age of 7, I was like, okay, would I live by the age of 30? Would I live by the age of 40? So I started counting days. I was aware there was like 50,000 days to the day I die. And then I made sure that every day was precious, because I think most people live life like they're going to live forever. And they're going to have regrets when the time comes, looking back at their lives. And so in a way, I try to turn the positive into it. And I thought, you know what, at least I'm blessed to appreciate every day as it comes.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great lesson there. So let's talk about you in the UK. How long did you live in the UK for?
32, 3 very long and miserable years.
Why would you say that?
Because we lived in London for about 6 months, and London is very cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
And it was 1978, 79. We moved to Manchester. My uncle was I'm sure you've heard of AstraZeneca.
Oh,
My
of course.
uncle was the CEO of AstraZeneca for the Middle East, and
wow.
their head office was in Manchester. So we moved there, and I remember landing, and it was raining. And I was like, oh my God, look at this beautiful tiny raindrops. Man, it rained for 35 years. Jeff, it didn't stop raining, right? And then I was just miserable. I went to school. I was the only foreign kid. I didn't speak English. I got kicked out of me. I didn't quit. I didn't want to tell my mom because I felt she was miserable enough and she had a tough life. So I just took a beating. I thought, you know what? I learned martial arts. I became a prefect, a head boy. I still had my ass kicked. I tried to learn to speak English without an accent, because even now I meet people who are from my country and they have a strong accent, and I made sure I didn't have an accent so I could fit in the society. Made no difference, because I realized prejudice is prejudice. You can't change that, but the only way you can do it is by educating others, right? So it was a tough childhood. My mom was very negative because she had a tough life. Everything pessimist, everything's going to turn out for the worst. Be careful, don't do this, don't do that, it's dangerous. She didn't want to lose me. But all along, I had this desire to be positive, this desire I realized even then that I'm dyslexic, that education wasn't for me. You know, I couldn't sit still and listen to somebody that I didn't respect and stand in line and speak when you're spoken to and agree with things that you don't agree with. I just wanted to become 18 and leave, you know? And then I realized only about 4 or 5 years ago that I always thought maybe my dad's DNA was positive, maybe because he was an entrepreneur, maybe no matter how much negativity and shit I faced in my life, I had this desire to be an optimist, a positive, and everything was rosy despite everything was falling apart. Then I actually realized I was on a Tony Robbins seminar in Tenerife, and I was listening to him talking. I thought, oh my God, my mom has been my inspiration, because I never wanted to be like her. Because I didn't want to have a miserable life. I didn't want to be a pessimist. I didn't want to, because I couldn't bear being with her, because she just triggered everything that I hated about being miserable. And I just want to be a positive guy and happy. Then I realized that she was my inspiration. So while I was in Tenerife, I picked the phone up and said, Mom, what are you doing at Christmas? And she lives in the UK. It was nothing. I said, right, the ticket's on its way. You're flying over. And for the last so many years, we've been inseparable.